In this section, we're going to consider thoughts, those nebulous things that we can't touch, but they're real. Here's what no one is telling you. Your thoughts matter, and they can change everything. Welcome to the Health Builders community. To understand where we're going with this, I want you to consider your thoughts and your feelings. You actually know you think, and you know you feel a feeling. But can you tell me where they are? Can you touch them with your hands? Can you stir them into your tea? I think the answer to this is pretty obvious, and yet thoughts and feelings are real and they have an impact. Do you agree? You see, you already understand that there is a non-physical dimension to your being. You probably never thought of it before, but it's not a mystery. It's an obvious reality. During this course, we're going to unpack the reality so that you can interact with it in a positive and meaningful way. That can really clear blocks and can get rid of or help to remove the physical illnesses or problems that are being caused by these blocks. The wonderful thing is that this is not complicated and it's not difficult, and you can do it for yourself, as unlikely as that might seem at this point in time, but it is true, and you will discover how to do it if you follow through with this program. So as you develop your own successful healing program, you're going to need to understand the dimensions of our being and how to interact with them in clear ways, because there are significant blocks coming from your mental and your emotional field that are causing physical problems. And we will see how this is true. I will be able to demonstrate to you very clearly that this is true. Without energy kinesiology, it would be impossible to delve into this world. But with the skills that you learn during this course, you're actually empowered to move forward. And it's really remarkable. And in a very simple and safe and effective way, you'll be able to make changes. The course that changes everything is Learning Muscle Monitoring. That's the name of the course. And if you haven't taken this course yet, I have left a link in the bottom of the description below, which you can click and get into the course. But before you click that link, you need to understand this material. If you haven't done it yet, or if you've already clicked the link and done the course, this is really going to help everything to come into focus. So let's start to unpack the reality of who we are. Understanding that there is more to us than the physical body is a critical piece of information that allows us to see things differently and to interact with our body in a new and dynamic way. At this point, we're not dealing with what people might call the conscious spiritual dimension, but rather the reality of who we are and how we interact with the energy fields around us. So let's get started. Many years ago, when I was praying about gaining a greater understanding about the whole field of energy medicine, I received a picture with the understanding that all this works a little bit like an ice cream cone. As bizarre as this sounds, it actually offers us quite a useful analogy. Let's look at this picture. As you can see, at the top of the cone is what I call the spiritual energy, the life force energy that connects you to your creator. This provides the spark of light that enters creation at the time when the sperm and the egg come together and create a new human being. This connection to life force that gives you life obviously has extraordinary intelligence, as those two little cells becoming one then multiply billions and billions and billions of times to create the miracle of a human baby. This life force guides every aspect of your being towards life and health. As we will see later, there are factors that create less than optimum conditions, which result in a less than perfect health outcome. Figuring out what these are and how to diffuse them is a big part of developing your own healing journey, and showing you how to do this is what this course is all about. Right now, I'm giving you the big picture of how all this works. The next level down on the picture is the mental level. This is where you as an individual interact with the life force energy coming into your being. Your thoughts have impact and can and often do strongly influence the manifestation of life force energy. Remember, your thoughts are not physical, but they are real, and they have power to create and change your physical reality. As the energy flows down the ice cream cone from the spirit through the mental and the emotional fields, it gets changed and modulated and molded in different ways by what you do and the energetic and the genetic inheritance that you have received at this level. So looking at this analogy, your mental and your emotional fields are what I would call your soul. This is the part of you that you know as you, the part that thinks and feels and makes decisions. It exists in the energy field which is found all around your body. Many would say that the energy field extends at least 6 feet around you and probably a whole lot more. Of course, you can't see it with your eyes, but that doesn't mean it's not real. Just like not being able to stir an emotion into your tea doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. This is the world of quantum physics, first discovered by Albert Einstein over 100 years ago. We need to understand that everything in life is energy. There is no other reality. That's what Albert Einstein basically discovered. Your thoughts and your feelings do have an impact. Look at this fascinating statement from Albert Einstein. Remember, he was a physicist who really understood physics, especially quantum physics. He said, everything is energy, and that's all there is to it. Match the frequency of the reality you want, and you cannot help but get that reality. It can be no other way. This is not philosophy. This is physics. Another way of saying the same thing is what you believe, you will receive. Later on, I will explain what frequency is and how it works. But for the moment, let's consider this extraordinary statement from a man who was one of the greatest minds of the last century and who redefined the way we see the world. The truth is, we don't have to understand how it all works. We just need to understand that there is a different reality. It's just like you don't have to be a mechanic to drive a car. You just need to know the basics of how the car works to drive it. That's what I'm teaching you here. Basics. Basics on how this stuff works. It is really fundamental to your healing journey. You're not expected to understand it all, but just to appreciate that this reality exists and that we can plug into it for our benefit to make remarkable changes, and that energy kinesiology and muscle monitoring is the vehicle that we use. The course that changes everything and teaches you this remarkable material is called Learning Muscle Monitoring, and I have put a link for this course into the description at the end of this video. In the next lesson, we will consider emotions and how they impact our health.